Can people in the chat hear me? Does this one look like it's going okay? I've been having a few technical issues here. Alright, brilliant. Okay, we should be going in like 3 minutes. I'm gonna connect with Florian, get him in on the Discord. Yeah, it's odd that it doesn't show on the channel page. You'd think that would be the first thing it showed, right? If the channel's live. How did you get the link then? Does it send you a notification or something? Okay, great. Looks like everything's going to be working now. I've put a message out on a comment on the Reddit post and a new tweet and message in the Discord. Just getting Florian to join on the Discord, and then we should be going in a couple of minutes. Yeah, I just had those, you know, those technical errors where you've got everything set up completely, you know, as smooth as it could be, ready to go, and then you just get these errors that you've never seen before. And things that used to always work just suddenly aren't working. They started complaining that Facebook didn't know what was going on, and I was like, I don't care that Facebook doesn't know. I never streamed to Facebook. So then I had to like find out what was going on, and then that caused the stream to be cancelled. Yeah, all kinds of we've all had these technical issues with whatever we do. Alright, brilliant. Flo is here now, so Flo, do you want to say a few words so we can test the levels?
Yeah, okay. Hello everyone, I'm glad to be here.
How does that sound? We're about the same volume, aren't we? Yeah, I can see the bars. Let us know if either of us need to be turned up or down. And we're pretty much ready to go. Just give us one more minute. Okay, everybody, I think we're all ready. So let's get it going. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I am Felix from Felix Ultimate. I'm joined today by strategical investigator. It's Florian.
That's a nice introduction. Thank you, Felix.
Florian Gailliegue, right? Is that my pronouncing that right?
Gailliegue, yes, it's close enough. Good for me.
Okay, brilliant. So we've got an exciting game today. We're looking at Buzz Bullets versus Ironside, quarterfinal from the 2014 World Club Championships. Rue has come onto my desk to join, so I'll just give her a quick little cameo because I know that's the main attraction of the stream. Hey, Rue, say hello to the viewers. Hello. Some of you might have seen recently that I've started a Patreon page, so I'm going to plug that a little bit now. If you haven't seen it yet, then patreon.com/FelixUltimate. You can get early access to content. Let's put it in here. Yeah, so you're going to get early access to like the videos. You're going to get like special access to live streams, like private live streams, like behind the scenes live streams. So a lot of people can, ask me about how I make my videos and stuff. And so after this stream, I think I'll hop on to the private live stream and show some of that action. So if you basically go to patreon.com, Felix Ultimate. And then over here, then you got the different tiers, and you can read all about it there. I won't bore everybody here with it now. Oh, I'll do the quick video though. Hello and welcome to my Patreon page. Quick video. Let me make it full screen a bit better. like this, and then like this. Okay.
Hello and welcome to my Patreon page. This is where you can see the best clips from live streams.
Oh, my thing doesn't like doing
early
it full
access
screen.
to upcoming YouTube analysis videos, see behind the scenes material, and even commission me to analyse footage of you playing. Patronage is the way I can continue doing what I'm doing, so if you value the work, please support it today. There's even a tier if you just want to watch more videos of my cat Rue, and we all know that's the real reason you're here.
Yeah, I know at that point everyone's just watching Rue in the corner of the screen. Okay, brilliant. Anything to add, Florian, about anything at all before we dive straight into the game?
Not yet. Just excited to cover this game. And American Ultimates always have very interesting clash of styles, so I'm glad to give this a go.
Awesome. Yeah. Hello to everyone in the chat as well. We've got Eno, we've got AJ, we've got Kim Zero, and Joe Marmstein in the chat. Sorry for all the technical issues. Good job finding the stream. It looks like we most people who want to see the stream managed to find it. So nice work hunting it down. I don't know why it's not in the most obvious places in YouTube, and I can't explain the technical errors which happened either. Apart from maybe Facebook just trying to get involved somehow. Okay. Brilliant. So we've got that lovely. This moment actually happens in the second half, but it is the most memorable moment of the game. So I thought I'd include it on there. And now let's have a look at the footage. All right. So start immediately from Japan's first pull. And I think there's a lot of crossover between Buzz Bullets and Ironside in terms of Buzz Bullets in Japan in terms of players. I don't know,
basically,
go on.
Basically the same team with a couple of players from Nomadic Tribe and Loquitos, I think.
Oh, so they do have a couple from Nomadic Tribe and Loquitos. Oh, see that?
With a sort of zone.
Yeah, and they had to throw that one right through the middle. That kind of broke it open. But it's a very it's a very unusual throw they had to do.
It really is. I'm a big fan of this first point because I see a defense that is straight up unusual, with sometimes no force at all, which is quite common for the Buzz Bullets. But if you compare that to regular Ultimate, that's fairly rare. And the offense that Ironside brought up there is textbook offense. The way they recognize that there is defensive superiority in the end zone and try to score with to a handler. This point is just perfect, It's what Ultimate should be. Some defenses with switches and very nice offense. What I really like first is the defensive setup. And see the goal of the Buzz Bullets is not to get the disc straight away, just to try and slow down the play to make sure that there is no easy passes that gain yards. Ironside does an excellent job of gaining yards anyway, but really like that.
Yeah, just looking at the offense, it looks like there's two critical throws. This one
is this one, yeah.
Yeah, the crossfield one, and that's opened up because of the pressure that this player likes to apply over here, which is one of the reasons why the buzz zone can kind of catch you off guard, because you expect to have an easy backwards pass, but just at the right time they close it down. I mean, there's actually no force on here, so Buzz have actually got 7 players to Ironside 6 in the rest of the field, which that might be why he feels like he can commit over here, because there's an overload over here, and that's where you got these 3 Buzz defenders over there, and they hit that space because when it swings over there, then this is high concentration of where the disc might be passed to. And it looks like, those 2 defenders there end up quite close together. This player goes deep, and he like passes him off without picking someone else up, and he's also double covering here with this defender here. But yeah, knock-on effect means that that pass goes over there. So what could they have done? I guess when he passed off this deep, he could have maybe tried to find, because he turns and then looks at the disc, and yeah, he's free, but maybe he could have found the other person that's free as well. Yeah, because you see he starts going towards the fours, but that's the open shot over there. But you know, it's not an easy shot. This is like a long crossfield pass. Not a very conventional shot. So, you know, that can tease errors out of people. And then, yeah, the Buzz defense then get in front of the disc. Again, they're not worrying about the force so much as stopping the next option. They train quite a lot of 6 versus 7.
The only thing that I could point out about the Japanese defense here, the small critique I could make, was that they don't really find a nice spot between pressuring the handlers or pressuring the receivers. They are sort of in between, which allowed Ironside to do this pass and the one we just discussed before. And I think throughout the match, they managed to find the right balance between the two types of pressure, which makes Ironside task even harder by the moment. But the first point, they are, I think, either slightly too far from the lure or too close to the receiver. I don't exactly know, but still, they have not found the right balance yet. Also, Ironside does something really great. It was even clearer in the first pass.
Let's go back to that. I think AJ might talk about that as well.
They are pinning bullets on the sideline. As soon as they recognize that there is a majority of defender in the sideline, they just swing the disc and go and try to exploit their material advantage on the right side. It doesn't succeed. So they can't really bring up the initiative, but they managed to do so with, yeah.
Is that just after that crossfield pass? You're saying they swing to the other side?
No. I mean the crossfield pass.
Oh, okay, right.
Crossfield pass is the swing down, which I really like. Ultimate should be some progression between one pin on sideline and a swing on the other, or either being right dead on center and trying to penetrate through defense, which they did on the second time.
Yeah. Something I've noticed is this player here who passes that deeper player off, it gets picked up by the guy next to him. So if you actually watch, he's then mimicking this guy's movements a lot. But I think this might be related to what AJ was saying. That defender should have been pushed over, basically. So as soon as this defender here realizes that they're double covering, they should, if they see that this player over here is free, then they should push that defender. So that defender then becomes marking this player over here rather than marking the one over here, because at the moment that defender's going to be double covering.
Double covering is pretty rarely a good option, except perhaps in the end zone. But
yeah. You know, but they're stopping Ironside's A game. You know, they're forcing like this throw is weird, like through the middle here. You know, if this defender here had reacted a second earlier, could have stopped it. But it's a weird throw, squeezing it through the middle, and you know, perhaps this defender could have turned around and got a D as well. So it's not, you know, it's a little bit risky, and it's just very unusual, or like quite unusual.
It's definitely a risky throw, which works quite well. I think the main strength of this defense is to force player to be in a new type of game. They can't really rely on pattern recognition as much, and so you force them to make these types of decisions, which actually they did really well on this point. Again, that's I think almost a textbook offense, considering the stakes. That's the first point of a pre-quarter, which is incredibly difficult. You have bullets and Ironside is not a pre-quarter at all. could easily be semi-finals.
I thought it was a quarter. Is it a quarter or a pre-quarter?
It's I thought.
Might be a pre-quarter. I thought it was a quarter.
I think it's a pre-quarter because
It's
Does
Ravi.
Ballet-
Ravi would know.
we won't reveal the results yet, but I think one of the team finished 9th.
That's a pre-quarter. That's a pre-quarter. Right. Okay. Right. Pre-quarter. Let's let's change the. Normally, I save this for the private members only, the patrons only stream, but I gotta change it to pre-quarter. Good spot. There we go. Okay.
So that's even worse. Being able to face a weird defense and to do these two really risky throws. That's kind of amazing. Yeah, some small spoil from Rusty Smith in the chat.
There's a spoiler. Good, well spotted, Barry. Hey, Liam, good to see you, Liam, in the chat. Liam joined me last week. I still haven't got around to actually making the compilation of clips from the live streams we did last week with Liam. But check them out. They're available on full on YouTube. There's Ravi, pre-quarter. All right. Kim points out that if you're not marking the disc, you need to challenge every throwing option because you're 7 versus 6. Yeah, and I think by having to play that different style of defense where you can be 90% efficient individually because you have that extra player, means that you then learn to play better as a team when you're doing 7 versus 6. And if you do 6 versus 7 like the other way around, offense and defense too, then I think you can learn quite a lot. Hey, Jason Thompson, good to see you again. Big up the Hive. Okay, sweet. Let's move on to the next point. Yeah, let's go.
Great pre-quarters game having to face Ironside in an elimination game in the round of 16. Ichikawa going deep. Can he run it down?
Oh, I thought he was going to lay out for that. So just
Perhaps it was a little bit further that he initially thought, but
yeah, I always want. Tanaka does this. You know, he passes and then he goes right from the pool. And I always want him to be passed back to, because if he gets it here, then he's facing downfield, right? So then he's
actually spoiler alert, but I think this will allow Ironside to do a huge D on the second half, being not throwing back to Tanaka.
Really? Okay.
I'm quite sure. I have to look back at that.
Because then Matsuno catches it and he has to then turn to it downfield. It's more traditional. It's more conventional. Oh, that's a tight. Look, he throws that when the defender's like right on him. Oh my word, that is very tight. I've played in teams before where, you know, you'll win games in the pool stages and stuff against good opposition, and then when you meet the team in the quarters or pre-quarters or whatever, the one that gives you the first real challenge, suddenly you have to throw the options that are much tighter than you're used to. And if you don't step up, take those options and like change the risk levels of your throws, then the game slips away from you. Look at that fake and then hits that. And then he's completely free, throws the flick huck. Little bit of a travel on that last step going forwards there, if you look at the footfalls. But you know, it'd be ridiculous.
Also, I need to Tanaka to continue the initiative and the breaks, but I think you just can't blame him from taking this option that soon in the game. That's a perfectly predictable huck without a force.
Yeah, I think if he did fake it and threw to Tanaka, then actually this defender's mark has gone deep as well. So potentially it would be actually two passes.
Kim is right. If your opponents are on the ground, feel free to move the disc around. Sleepy Fields in Lecco.
I love it. We got to have more rhyming frisbee proverbs. If your opponent's on the ground, feel free to move the disc around. Maybe a few too many syllables. Could neaten that one up, but I like the idea of it. Oh yeah, I was going to say, in terms of like game strategy, it's really good to throw deep early on. Like if they didn't take this, then it just mean that the unders would be pressured more, and Ironside wouldn't be scared of the deep as much. You know, if you throw a huck early on in the game, then your opponents respect you deep more, which makes the unders easier, and then you can play the whole game.
Yes, and then the threat becomes bigger than the execution.
Exactly.
You're fully right, and I think Ironside in the rest of the game will be respecting the deep option a lot. A lot of times in horizontal stack, the unders won't be pressured because those few shots gone up at first. So I agree that he could have really kept on the momentum going with Tanaka, but the mental impact of this huck is quite big too for the rest of the game.
Yeah, indeed. I'll just draw this just in case anyone. This one. I'm getting better at drawing arrows. Kim clarifies that the proverb is about if your person's on the floor, then you should move the disc around rather than throw it deep. So taking this one, my instinct, or like not mine, like I think a really good instinct would be to, if your person's on the floor, to try and throw and go. Like you basically you can still cut away from your person and increase the separation, but you have to get the disc out of your hands first. And if Tanaka's unmarked, then it means he'll be able to get the disc back to you. So he could just go bam bam, get the disc back, then in the middle of the field, going down there, facing downfield. Okay, sweet. Next possession. Now we're 1 minute into the footage. We probably won't spend quite so much time on.
It would be quicker afterwards, but these first few points really define the game. So.
Oh, okay. This is the same type of defense from the Buzz O-line.
Almost, yes. A lot of the time they will not really defend the player on the far right of the field. Nice layout from Matsuno. We'll leave it to the Ironside offense to prove that they can with these types of hammers.
Right, yeah. Oof. Well, that was close.
And that's a turnover. At least it should be, I think.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll see the replay afterwards.
Okay. Okay, let's fast forward the discussion. Okay, looks like it's cooled up in the end. Looks like we've got a game advisor, but no observers.
It's really easy to understand why it was called up anyway, and even though I'm pretty sure it's down, when you are in the heat of the moment, I can understand why the player thinks it's up. It's not an issue.
Yeah, but probably the seed of doubt might have been planted. Yeah, you should give players the benefit of the doubt, but that's the first. That's the first, maybe like slightly contentious call. Contentious, maybe a bit strong, but debatable call. Like regardless of whether it's actually up or down, just the fact that it's kind of close, it's like. Also quite weird, that catch.
Actually made Tanaka stop. It's kind of weird what happened there. Small bump made.
Yeah, and Tanaka stops.
Defenders almost stopped, and then was a lovely throw to score. Lovely grab, by the way.
Oh yeah, Tanaka stopped, and it's his guy that gets the disc, I think. Yeah, because that's a poach coming in there. Yeah, okay, interesting. And then obviously good feet to then keep them planted and in to make that a catch. So what was the deal with him on the force then? Do you think? Did he just get like a knock to the nose or something, and he was like, "Well, that's not really a foul, but stumble backwards a bit."
No, I think it's a small bump, but he recognized that he was probably disc spacing him, so didn't
Right.
dare to call anything.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Quite a nice offense. Movements, swings.
Oh, there's Matsuno's bid. It's making up all that ground. There's a lot of separation there. I think as soon as he sees him turning the corner, Matsuno's like, right, he's going for this area over here. I'll take the faster line. Oh, and then the crossover of paths just at the end. It's very, very close.
I love the fact that he made the layout so clean.
Yeah.
No chance of injuring the player whatsoever. He really goes around and should be kept in mind. Your play for the disc is not a reason to risk the player's safety. So.
Yeah, of course. I don't think I've ever seen Matsuno make a dangerous play. Not that I can remember. I mean, there's a lot of players that's true for. Nice little throw and go there. I like that. Just to eat the yards up without risk. There's that up and down call, which we looked at a bit there. Very, very adamant up call from this fellow over here, who has a debatable perspective. But then, is he pointing up as well here? Is that an up? Is that an up hand? Tanaka's these two are saying down. He doesn't know. He maybe thinks he's up, or maybe didn't see. This yeah.
No, I think he's looking around just to see if someone has a better view than him.
Well, the guy on force, it's like he's just going to get on force, and then he's like, "Oh, something's been called."
The resolution was good.
Yeah, it's pretty quick as well. This is a pick. Oh, I think I might sneeze in a second. What's going on here? What's the stoppage? Is it something happening in here?
Yes.
What's happening? Can you see it? Can anyone see it? There's some talk in the chat about game advisors. Oh, that they're weaker, so they're just less practiced. I think Ravi's saying. Oh no, he's not saying that. He's saying that they didn't have as much power. Is it? I think maybe this guy's calling pick. Yeah. You see, the advantage of two offensive players moving together like that isn't that you can stop the game with pick. Well, it shouldn't be. It kind of is, I guess. It should be that you can take advantage of that positioning by surrounding them. Set up a sandwich, and then both of those players have to move towards one of you to get free. Sneezes are for patrons only. Yeah, I'll join the Beehive Discord and sneeze. I can't quite keep up with the chat whilst I'm doing the. I'm still not sure what this stoppage is. Okay, maybe it was a pick. Maybe it was a pick. It must have been, I guess. And then moving it around, swinging it around. Oh, I like that cut over here. You've got the defender has come off to guard the near side, then has to make up the ground. I think Jimmy Mickle would throw this instantly, just like, wouldn't he?
I think he had in the 2016 goal against Japan.
Yeah,
is exactly. A throw. This one. It is, I think, quite often thrown by coaches the weaker divisions just because you are clogging the open space. But actually, at this moment, the open space is not at all where the play is. So you're just drawing defenders around, and I think it's a pretty good cut, yeah.
Oh, the one across the end zone.
One you mentioned, I think
Yeah.
it's a perfectly reasonable cut, even though it's horizontal and it has very few chance of receiving the disc. It still forces the defense to recognize it as a dangerous option. So I like it.
Yeah, me too. Ravi says that game advisors couldn't give perspective on foul calls in 2014, and that comes into play later in the game. Stay tuned. I think we get the replay now. Yeah, it's a shame they've got like this slightly blurry replay. I'm sure if Mike Palmer were here, he'd be able to tell us exactly why, what setting it is in their vMix that's caused that. What do we think, chat? Up or down? Up or down in the chat? Let's put it to a vote. Up or down? And you think it's down, Florian?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Hands open. Hands open. Hands very open. Yeah, I think the disc might be touching there. Yeah, okay, I'm going to say down. What does the chat say? Down, 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 down. Definitely down. Okay, all right. Well, that's unanimous. So that's the first.
But still, you are when playing, you have a lot of adrenaline pumping. You are doing a layout. I don't blame the player from thinking it's up. So
especially like when you're at that level, you're imagining catching it, right? So in your mind, you've already caught it in a way.
Of course.
And then when it ends up in your hand, you're like, yeah, I imagine catching it, and then I caught it. Oh, just a drop, right? That's just. I mean, he didn't need to go one-handed here, did he?
Oh, yeah, I think he didn't, and you'd be upset because they again disregard Tanaka.
Oh yeah. Why won't someone look back at Tanaka? Because he always runs after he throws this centering pass. Like, and he's got perfect vision of the whole field. He's not going right to the middle, and they do have enough space to get another pass off. But when this guy catches it, he's static. If anything, he's moving back towards back of his own end zone. So there's no like momentum with it. It sounds like Blink 182 here in the chat. Says Kim. Yeah, it's about as close as it can be. Yeah, not as close as the Lola Dam in or out catch last week, 2 weeks ago. Okay, yeah, so he should have gone two hands, grab catch, left hand on top, I reckon. This one, if we're going to pick it all apart.
That was probably the most uncharacteristic miscue we've seen yet. An easy catch, goes up for it with one hand and bobbles it.
I think the nerves are showing for the buzz bullets at this moment. And this turnover is quite sad.
Very sad. It's just an overlay. Is there wind? Where are the flags? Any flags in the background there? Can't see any flags. Anyone that was there, remember if there was any wind?
It was going from the opposite direction, I think, in the same way.
I think there was a timeout.
It was a downwind throw.
Right, so what, the throw was directly downwind, or they were shooting downwind?
Kim is right, it was wet. It's a lovely grab from Matsuno.
Yeah, this was the tournament where they had to get a helicopter to blow away the rain off the fields. Did you hear about that?
I think I did. There were a couple of players from my club playing in the Masters division there.
Okay, so speaking about inward pivoting, right? This is an outward turn, which I no longer think really matters that much, right? Because within like a fraction of a second, he's then facing wherever he wants to, right? And he's kind of like facing diagonally across. It looks like he's not facing directly in field, to look for the return, but he's facing diagonally across, and that's fine because you threaten the deep and That's how you score points in the game. More points, the more likely you are to win. Most points wins the game. And then the outward pivot, but by that point it's no longer about, you know, the catch. So this is not an inward or an outward pivot, right? On in terms of like receiving. Because some players would catch there and then they would immediately pivot out for the backhand to like look down the line to see what was going on. But he faces infield and then steps out to throw the option. But he turns outward as well. And then Matsuno's timing here.
It's impeccable.
What did you think about the inward turning and stuff?
I think inwards or outwards pivots aren't really what matters most in that type of situations. I will still favor inwards pivoting just because it allows for more give and goes and builds and so on. In this situation, there is no continuation from the handler, so the only realistic option would be to turn on field to see what's going on there. The fact that he's balanced is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Balance,
Yes,
he's
balance.
able to throw these effects crossfield huck.
Yeah.
Matsuno does a great job of taking the first point from the buzz buds.
Yeah. Nice. And I think, yeah, balance I think is the key thing. And if anything, his balance is actually more infield than anything else. Like after he catches, like he could easily step out for a flick or something over here. And I think that's the key thing, is where you're balancing after you catch the disc. Hey, Davide Mori! Ciao ragazzi! Good to see you in the chat, Davide. Davide, Mr. Hollywood, we call him, I think, in the box office Davide, in the LTTV crew. It's always worth, if there's any downtime, putting a camera on Davide. Very animated, always talking to his team, always very passionate about every part of the game. And one of the people that's I'd say has done the most for European Ultimate. Very much so, you know, on the ground, grassroots level, training up schools, training up elite players. You know, really has done amazing things over the last few years.
One of the most famous European player, I'd say. That's a lovely end zone offense.
He has to go back to working soon. Cool. Yeah, Davide, the stream, I think the stream I'm going to keep up the duration. So you can just come back to this link to see this stream. I think on Friday, what I'll do is move the live stream after it's broadcast onto the Patreon, so that it's
Justin Ford, yeah.
Sorry.
I know Davide was pointing out that Justin Ford was more famous than he is. Not sure in France.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would take
Justin Ford. I'd say it's about on the same par.
So at this point, there are two main really divided into two parts. The first one being there before the foul.
Yeah,
you can see that's an excellent downfield defense from the Japanese defenders, which after the foul led to a very stable but quite a risky hack. It's still a 50-50, I think, or 60-40 if you get the way Ironside players kite the Japanese one. But still, that's not an easy throw, which is, I think, due to the pressure the Japanese player puts.
Yeah, I was noticing this on the Japanese players' footfalls. Like he has to like, he's going at full speed, and then he has to like change his cadence to get that jump in. You know, he takes like one long step and then it's like dun dun, like long step and then doosh, like that. So,
Not that far.
yeah, he gets so close. Matsuno. Oh, Ravi was saying about the Matsuno Sky that it's on George Stubbs, foreshadowing skying John Stubbs 2 years later in the final, in the USA Japan London final. George Stubbs and John Stubbs brothers.
No, not yet. I believe he towed the line. For an option.
Not know for sure.
Solid check in the back of the
That he throw.
Ravi will know. Okay, you see the Japanese players swarming around the disc. It's always good to be part of a swarm.
Not easy to recognize this option as soon as he did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the defender here, like, you know, he's obviously crossing over here. Needs to get away from this other defender as soon as possible. But there's a big overload of defenders over here. So potentially you could be a bit tighter just knowing that you don't actually need to guard this area because there's like a spare defender in there.
Sure.
So easy
I would rather say that in this type of situations, what you want from a defensive point of view is just to create as much chaos around the thrower as you can, just to make sure he doesn't recognize this type of options. It's
chaos.
really hard. Chaos, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
It's really hard to do when the players are experimented, but I don't think with a foot on the line you can, and a defense that hasn't been that has been doing pursuits the whole point, you can have a realistic chance of defending the disc cleanly. So you just have to hope for a mistake, I think.
No, yeah, they do. He does well. He's got good field vision to find that.
Perfect throw.
What does Davide say? Matsuno has a combination of reactivity and elasticity. Elastic Matsuno, yeah. That is a skill difficult to be stopped. Also from super defender. Yeah. George Stubbs. Here's a replay of it. He does awesomely. Both of us. It's a shame about the blurry replay. So here's a little thing. I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago. When you're playing with a crowd and you have a stand like this in the background with all these colours and stuff, you see it's hard to see the disc now. It's hard to see for the players as well. If the disc is like if the crowd is behind the disc, then it's far more likely there's going to be an unforced drop. So just something to, when you're watching like a high level game which has a massive crowd and somebody makes an inexplicable drop, just think about what they would see behind the disc, because it's probably a sea of multicolored shirts and hats and stuff. George Stubbs is strong physically but not so elastic. Yeah, I like that. I haven't heard Matsuno being called elastic before. It definitely suits him. So Tanaka then started going quite close to the side. Nice Kurono, no hesitation.
The celebration.
Yeah, celebration time.
Yeah. He will do some other celebrations, I think.
Yeah, so yeah, he throws and he goes, but he's obviously it would be there's a lot of yards to lose here. And he's kind of going towards the side as well. He's trying to keep that defender out of there. He does. Goes across. This is Corona. Oh, that balance. Look at the balance. I do wish.
Pivoting, which makes the defender overcome it.
Yeah, I wish it was perfect. I just wish that travel wasn't there, you know? Like, it's a tiny travel, and if it was in the other direction, you wouldn't even bat an eyelid. You wouldn't even call it a travel if it was, yeah, if he traveled by taking an extra step going this way. Not even an extra step, just like not slowing down as fast as possible. But because he slows down as fast as possible and then takes a tiny step this way, it like looks like a much well, more damaging travel. You see that
Weirdly
little
not
step.
called, but yeah.
Weirdly not called. You say. Yeah, no, yeah. I'm glad it wasn't called.
I'm not sure it's a game changing. Still, I really like the fact that the Ironside player completely overcommits to defend the same third huck
Really?
or just the up the line huck, which is to be expected, and he just turns around and throws it on the line that he opened for himself.
Yeah, because at this point, the classic thing, if you look at where the direction that he's running in, then the classic thing, because he's come down here, would be to turn around this way, and even if you don't travel, to like pivot forwards at least, yeah, and look for this as a throw. But just the speed at which he then turns the other way and overbalances to the inside. Overbalances, I say, because he had to, he does a little travel. And then suddenly it's like boom, and that's the break side, and he's made the force look like they're forcing the wrong way. Just opened up the break side, which gives his downfield receiver a massive advantage, because this defender is expecting it on the open side. He's not expecting an instant break side huck. Although arguably you should do against Buzz. This is 2014 though. So, people maybe hadn't broken it down and realised that they do this a lot. But it stems from this. It stems from the inward turn. And more importantly, the balance going inside. Yeah, so he does run over the mark, but I'm saying that that's understandable because normally a player doesn't stop there.
It was mentioned in turns pattern recognition before. What the defender has done is not. It really is a mistake, but that's a mistake that he has been conditioned to do so many times. He doesn't really think about it. His body is just acting to try and overrun the small steps that he was lacking, and so it opens up a huge window for a superb throw. I don't even think he has conscientize. If that's a word. It's not the conscient process. I mean, body is acting on his own. He just has to try and defend the huck. Huck is not coming from the expected angle. That's all.
So you're saying it's not. What was the word you're trying to say? Conscience?
That's basically. I mean, it's not command his body to do so. Just acts because he knows.
Right, not a conscious decision. Sorry, go on. I interrupted.
No, that was basically the end.
Okay, right, yeah. So yeah, he didn't make a conscious decision, or like it's through force of habit that he overcommitted, because against 99% of players that wouldn't be an overcommitting. In fact, that'd be like committing the exact right amount. But that's because 99% of players will overcommit on offense by turning outwards, facing outwards, pivoting outwards. Like there, for example, right? Just because I'm thinking about it. Yeah, like if this player decelerates into this catch, turns inwards, okay, and then aggressively looks infield, but instead it's like a catch, slow down, and travel. Yeah, and this travel is what I'd say maybe 8 times bigger than the other travel we saw. Yeah, one because he can slow down much quicker than that. 2 because he then takes this step here, which is probably 3 times on its own bigger than the step that Corona took in the opposite direction. So I think this is like an 8 times bigger travel, give or take. But again, probably shouldn't be called. Doesn't need to be called because this defender's there anyway. So it definitely shouldn't be called, but shouldn't happen.
If you consider the mud that was just before he tries to decelerate,
Was that the mud?
myself doing this travel.
Was that the mud?
The mud's just
Yeah.
in the middle of the field. So
Yeah, so maybe he slid through it.
I think he tried to avoid it, but
All right, okay, you're jumping over it.
we'll
Oh,
see
sick.
the end of these points. One was a turnover.
Nice. This isn't actually his defender.
No, it's a very nice
Yeah, very nice
reaction.
poach. Yeah, really nice. So keep your eye on this player here. Technically should be red because he's defense. So you see it, and he can see that option, and he doesn't commit to it because he kind of wants the throw to go. You can see him like he clocks him nice and early. Oh yeah, okay, I see that. And then he's like, right, I'm not going to commit to that because that'll leave this guy free, but also it'll stop the chance of getting a D. And he's in a good position here to get a D, good position to get a D. Starts committing to it as the guy winds up to throw. Perfect timing. So the guy doesn't have time to react, adjust his throw, and then gets up. Nice. Top quality play. Who is that? Number 17. Ravi? I need to be better at getting the rosters for these teams, but I've got so many windows open. It's a multitasking challenge.
Again, something that could be said is when you are defending in front of your end zone and you are in a 2-against-2 situation, it doesn't matter at all if your player has the disc not in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
The only threat is the score at that. During a I don't know, static zone offense, I wouldn't say the same thing. If you are 7-against-7 in front of the end zone, you kind of have to try and defend most of the throws. But 2-against-2, the only reasonable option to defend is the score. So which he does perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if his player gets the disc, then you've got TV1 in the end zone and lots of other defenders coming to help.
True, and if he tried to defend, his player had the disc anyway. It was a 1-against-1 in the end zone, which is almost dead anyway. Wouldn't bet on defense in a 1-versus-1 in the end zone situation.
No, yeah, offense advantage in that situation, isn't it? Oh, I don't like clearing down the narrow channel there. This is something that Hex taught me. It's a stoppage, so I'll rewind it. So yeah, after playing Hex for a while, it kind of like teaches you stuff. You know, it's like less of a thing that you try and define, more of a thing you let define your play, to an extent. And so after this pass here, which is again like an inward pivot, he steps out, but then the balance and the travel, why always the inward travel is inwards. Yeah, and that's definitely like an inward pivot, I'd say. Like he's got that first step, but then very much threatens the inside. And once he's got that threat open as well, then it feels like, you know, the disc is going to go there. It's like a big space to try and defend against. So
Kind of unlucky to have that big of a window open for the defense, because you can see that there is a poach going on, trying to clock that window, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
Room. And that's one of the main strengths of looking towards the center of the field. You have so many more options that get open just because of your position. It should really be taught more often. More often than not, you're taught to have your shoulders facing the end zone, and I think that's kind of a mistake.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I don't really like that he goes down this narrow channel here. I'd prefer him to like go across, because when down here you're surrounding the disc, which means that this defender, you know, could appear in the blind side for the thrower, just like you do in against Bo Kittredge in the 2016 final, where Bo catches it, looks down the line, and then pivots infield and goes to throw, and the defender just like flashes across. And that's because it comes from this kind of movement. Yeah, the offense does something like this surrounding the disc, and then the defender can attack on the blind side, or like get a hand in there. And it also means that like when you're here, then anything down the line is taken up by your movement. Whereas if you go around the back, you know, then this player has all this space to kind of work with. However, you would be then bringing your defender towards this free player over here. So yeah, just a thing that I try and teach in Hex is to avoid the narrow channel. Yeah, this is like this. Yeah, you can see. Imagine the disc is there. This is the narrow channel to avoid, and then obviously this over here is the wide channel. Oh yeah, and then there's a foul on the mark? Yeah, so he snaps this fake here, gets the full spot in across, but he doesn't commit to the fake. He doesn't commit all his balance and his weight to it. It's just like push to move him across, and then pivots inwards dangerously with the force still. Does he call a foul on the mark? I think he does. Does he? Hard to say.
I think because the player, the defender of the dump,
Inamata
does the
numbers
big sign. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What are you saying?
I think the player that is defending the dump signaling a pick, but I can't be certain.
I mean, it says 2014, so that's probably just like, well, stop playing. I don't know. How did we have hand signals? They were. I don't think they're in strong like usage in 2014.
It's a shame because hand signals are really nice.
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah, really useful. It's a good job, Wift, of bringing them in.
We are still lacking a sign for a strip, but apart from that, that's great.
That's this, isn't it? Like rain money.
I'm not sure it's an official one, but I like this one.
So Inamata is number 17. He got the poaching off D in the end zone. What's the stoppage here? I don't want to. I think we need to move the footage on like a little bit quicker. What do people in the chat think? Is the pace good, or can we should we speed it up a little bit? Okay, there's a pick. It's this defender here. Yeah.
It's trying to attack the same space.
Yeah. Brings their defense over there and then goes on attacks. I mean, what they could do if they're 100% aware of each other is when this player then changes to move that way, he's actually then moving towards where the defender is going. So then they can mark each other, and then that would free up this defender to go and take the underspace. So they go around that corner. It could switch right there, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so the chat is saying that we could speed it up a little bit, which we'll do, I guess.
Yeah. I do like looking at picks. But we're only 5 points in.
It's a more than 30 points match.
Spoilers.
True.
It is great. Like, goes beyond 15-15.
Up the line for the end zone. Patience to the end zone.
Oh, the slap away. Man, he slaps his disc so far.
Say up the line. The end zone. Patient.
A little bit impatient in front of the end zone,
Yeah.
which is a sad conclusion to a quite well-rounded point. Japanese line.
Yeah, I mean, he's never really free going up the line here.
So I don't really understand the choice, but yeah.
Yeah, he just pushes himself into it. Maybe he, sometimes this happens where like you see a cut and you're like, yes, I'll throw to that because that's a hittable cut in the front corner. I'll throw to that, and then you pivot out to throw to it, and you're like, oh, there's someone else there. I'll just throw to them, and you don't go through the correct decision process. I've had that happens a fair amount. Change your mind.
Case, yeah. It's defensive reaction anyway.
Yeah. Bats it miles out. Oh, a big hammer.
Long hammer.
Second one of the point, I think. First one was quite shorter. Still, that's the second time that we see a hammer coming from the side of the field towards the sideline. Position as some key moments.
I'm gonna make you a bit louder.
Okay.
Is that better,
And
chat?
another hammer.
Chat, let me know if it's too loud or too quiet. Yeah. Ben Lindmer says he likes us focusing on individual players, right? So when I like rewind it and I'm like, keep your eye on this guy. Classic. Rusty Smith says Matthew Rebholes. Not sure what the context of that is. Did he get the D? Oh yeah. So that is Rebholes, the guy that throws this assist to Josh Marquette. Ah, Rusty is on this team. Rusty, what number are you on Ironside? Ah, yes. Okay, so it was Matthew with the D. Number 4. He's a great D. He smashes it so far. Yeah, Rebhole's got the D. Okay, there's the other hammer. And
third one of the points.
You can see the classic Buzz just running away for the force. Whoa, my guy's got the disc. Gotta get away from him. It's good though. Like it stifles this guy's cut, and he's just like, okay, I can't go either way now. He stops, swing the disc around. Through the middle. See, I don't get this. Why is he committing over there? Like there's a defender in between you and the person you're marking. Just say push, or communicate. Just push that defender over to mark them, and then you find someone else. I mean, it's easy to break it down when you got super slow motion and all the time in the world. But I think at this point, yes, switch and mark him, but tell him to go over that way. That's why that one opens up in the middle.
If there is something that you need to avoid at all costs, is progression in the middle. Positional advantage of being in the middle is so strong that all my players have discs on the sideline all the time. I'm yelled at by my coach for that, but still.
Okay.
Having the disc in the middle is a huge asset to the offense.
Yes, it is. So much more space. Right, keep your eye on this guy. Note how he makes a lot of like short, sharp movements to try and throw his defender off. Ultimately, being able to shake him off to get a score. So he makes a little move over there, but the disc obviously moves to the other side. Comes across, moving towards a threatening area. Turns his shoulders. Yeah, see how he turned his hips and shoulders towards the thrower before making a move. So sets him up to go anywhere. Trying to get this defender to commit one way or the other. Yeah, so see that sidestepping before he makes the cut as well. He's just like ready to go in whichever direction. Really nice.
centered.
Still, it was one turn of
Defense.
a point.
Right away.
I mean, two turnovers, but one turnover from the Ironside all line. Two quite risky hammers. One pass down the line, which was caught. Last one, which was also great footsteps from the offensive player. If you are playing on defense, that's kind of a win.
Travel.
Yeah. Okay, so Rusty Smith is number 10 in this game for Ironside.
Travel calls from the Ironside defense.
Joe Malmsteen is asking Rusty questions. Yes, please interview the players that are in the chat.
Tanaka in the center. Takahashi.
Oh, I love this wide angle.
Bullets moving upfield and a hand block.
Ah.
And luck.
How did this player fall over? Have a look. Oh, whoopsie. Gets run into. What was the crazy throw? There's some. Oh, here we go. This one.
Center.
Oh, I like that.
Very nicely spread offense.
Yeah. It's a nice looking throw. And then to Matsuno, and then Matsuno gets hand blocked.
Does.
Oh, no, he doesn't. He just throws it off the side of the field.
It's not a hand block?
No.
No.
Because it's a miscommunication. So he wants to throw under or maybe break. But however, this first step is not what Matsuno was expecting. So he tries to hold onto the disc, I think, and it flies off at a funny angle. I think that's what happens.
Gives it back to Irons.
Okay, Joe Marmstein's continuing the interviewing.
It's the last time Buzz Bullets are struggling in offense for quite a while now.
Okay.
We'll have really smooth offenses going on afterwards.
I think that's a theme. It's like, oh my god, Matsuno made a mistake. And then like everyone plays perfectly after that. Oh, and he got scored on. Double sadness for Matsuno. You know how you got like double happiness is this? Double sadness is this.
Alright, I keep that. So very nice score for Ironside. I'm not sure I agree with this huck in all situations, but when you are already one break up and you have the opportunity for a second one, then a 50-50 throw, or perhaps 60-40 is quite good, just to put the defense completely down. Ollie.
This is where Buzz would turn inwards. But it's an outwards turn. No travel, amazing. Normally when we slow any catch down there's a travel. And then this is very outward facing. Yeah. So
We're wrapping with the mark there.
Yeah.
Traveling also, but yeah. Aggressive mark, let's say.
Yeah, illegal mark. And the reason he throws it is because this guy puts his hand up, right? Who can resist? Someone runs to the end zone putting their hand up. Oh, you say my name and it's 100% chance that disc is going. And then it's not actually him that gets it.
Same problem with hammers. If I hear hammer on the sideline, I just throw an upside. I don't know why.
Yeah. Oh god, I had someone on the other team. I won Europeans and indoors with this player, and then he was playing against me a couple of years later, and then he was on the sideline and he said scuba and I threw a scuba turnover. You knew me too well. I can't resist. Okay, moving on.
A double break for Ironside.
Double break. Look at the wonderful Italian mountains in the background. Davide, you're lucky to live in a beautiful country.
Alps.
Tanaka back with Kichikawa. Takahashi clearing out. Ironside is backing.
Yeah, I think those are the official.
Stack, letting
That's the official hand signal for double sadness.
don't want them to take the deep shots. Takahashi.
If game advisors start doing that,
Line.
then I'll like them a lot more.
Has to go back. Kichikawa. Takahashi. Tanaka.
Break.
Movement. Trying to utilize their quickness, and they do for the easy goal. 5 to
How many passes was that?
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't counted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 passes. They catch the score on 24-23, and the disc is checked in on 23-52. What did I say? 11 passes. 24-23.
20 seconds, yeah.
So that's,
Around 2 seconds per
That-
hold.
that's 30 seconds, right? It's 30 seconds.
Um,
And 11 passes. So just under 3 seconds.
23, yeah. If you take into account the time spent in the air, I think that's around 1.5, 2 seconds per hold, something like that. It's
Wow.
it's really smooth offense.
Wow, even Frank would say that that's only like a little bit bad. Frank says it should be under 1 second, the average time of possession.
Takahashi.
2,
Clearing out.
3. I mean, to be honest, most of the seconds are right there, right? And then 1,
The cutters to
2,
the stack, letting them
1,
get those free unders.
2,
Don't want them to take the
almost
deep
3,
shots.
1,
Takahashi
1.2, 1,
up the line.
2, 3,
Corona.
4, 5, 6. Oof, that's a lot.
If this was the longest possession, is resolved with a push pass.
Tanaka.
Right. Oh,
This
it's-
one is awesome. Small break, which led to this crushing end.
yeah, that is awesome.
Just love this point.
Once they get the flow with this push pass, then nobody holds onto the disc for more than a second, right? Maybe about a second. Is it shredding? Are they shredding?
Back. Kichikawa. Takahashi. Tanaka. Quick movement. Trying to utilize their quickness and
I realized I made a video about this, where I think I called it quick movement. I just realized that the commentator says quick movement as they're doing it. I'm so original. But yeah, it's so nice. It's so nice. And like pretty much exactly 1 second that it stays in the hands of the first 2 or 3 people, and then it's less than a second. You see all the defenders are trailing, right? So look at these 3 defenders. Yeah, like 1, 2, 3. Okay. Keep an eye on those 3
This-
defenders.
That is helped with a shimmy with the disc holder at this moment. I think when he catches it, he does a small shimmy that puts his defender on the heels.
So much attack. Yeah, let's have a look for that shimmy, because it's the down the line fake almost. You know, it's like traditionally you then threaten down over here for a little while, but it's like whoop, rotate and then back. Yeah, just so quick. Rotate the body, threaten that, get the defender taking that extra step slightly. I wouldn't say off
Even a
balance.
shimmy, just a small disc movement towards the right.
Yeah, it just gets that tiny separation there.
It's the actual definition of shredding. Yeah, nobody knows.
I feel like shredding is more of an individual thing.
I think it's the action of hurting the defense through thing. No one knows.
Nobody knows for sure. Should we get Frank to co-host on one of these streams? Let's have yes in the chat if you think Frank should come on and join, and if you think that Frank should not and should never be on these live streams, put no in the chat, and probably capital letters. Because Frank,
I don't know how many times I've rewatched these points with. Actually, I've analyzed the match first with my wife, the co-author of the book. Just these points.
so nice. see the like rotation of the 4 players as you go over here. Like as that movement starts going, as the disc starts going across, the players start rotating. Doosh, doosh. And then as that step is where it changes, and it's like, right, now we go the other way. Just shred through it. Do you think Frank would get annoyed if we start calling stuff shredding? I guarantee it. Okay, Ravi says no. Ravi says no to Frank. Any other votes? Reb Holes, Cricket, Frog O'Brien. The cut has been Danny Clark. Who knows? I think, yeah, Rusty's answering Joe. Is that right? I haven't kept up with the discussion. What is the actual definition of shredding? Dom Knight asks. That's a good question. There is a video that where Frank does try and explain it in the Let's Be Frank series. It's basically just really good dribbling. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just really good dribbling where you've got complete control over your balance, and you know what you can threaten, and you're attacking with it, and the defenders have no chance, and you can run rings around them, kind of thing, and you do it incredibly effectively. Which means that now we're allowed to call stuff dribbling, because dribbling doesn't have to be really, really good. So basically, like for years, Frank was like, "That's not dribbling. That's not dribbling," just because he was like, "That's not very good dribbling." You know, like if you call that dribbling, you call anything dribbling, kind of thing. This is his attitude. But now he's got a new word, shredding, and maybe Frank's the only one that will maybe Frank's the only one who will be able to shred at any point, because he can own that now. He can have that as his definition. But I understand it's just really, really good dribbling, basically. All right, Dom says that he doesn't mind Frank being on so long as I just mute him when he goes crazy. That would antagonize him so much. For someone that's been censored on Reddit. Hashtag free Frank.
Another hammer. I think I think that's almost what you should do, because the Japanese are taking away so many options, and because every time there is this type of pass, the score happens quite soon afterwards. But it's also quite a risky throw. Contesting their decisions, I think it's really the right way of attacking the Japanese defense. But at the same time, if that's a risk you're willing to take 10 times match, you're pretty sure that there will be at some point a turnover, even if the players isn't really tightly marked. I mean, nice. This allows for a lot of easy points. This will definitely cause one turnover, and I don't know if that's a risk you're willing to take. I think that's a team strategy that should be discussed. To the Japanese defense to force that type of throws, and to the Ironside offense to execute it so right most of the times.
Yeah, I think it's good to ask the other team with your strategy whether they are able to throw these throws and whether they're willing to make these throws, and then obviously Ironside step up and they're just like, yeah, not only can we make them pinpoint accurately and then flow off them. It's a good reply.
It's a perfect reply to defense. There's still win, so hammers shouldn't be too contested.
Luke says
sorry, go on. There is no hammers that are easy to catch anyway.
Yeah, they're a little bit harder, aren't they?
Yeah, at this point.
Oh my god. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, Luke says it's been more than a year since I did something with Frank. Yeah, was that the Let's Be Frank series? I kind of helped him out with a bit. That was about a year ago, maybe. Maybe once a year is okay for prank content, Luke suggests. I am curious about getting him on for the live stream. I think I never just once. What game? I think maybe if we do like the Amateur and Prime game, where they've actually where they're actually holding good shape and flowing nicely. Oh, sorry, where the defense is awful, of course. Look at all the players over here. There's like almost a side stack, all the defenders, and then like bunched up. So as defenders, the last thing you want is to be surrounded by offense, right? Unless you're like heavily, maybe they're like heavily just like stopping the.
And the throws, I think that's just a zone. Didn't really they hoped.
Sorry, it's just a zone that
didn't go as they hoped at all. They were expecting was to come from the left lane because all the Japanese players were there, and went the other way around. So it's 4 passes and a huge grab, and that's it.
You mean like if you're thrown back to Tanaka here? Like,
yes, once more.
Because it's like he's seeing this pass and he's catching the disc, so he knows he's got an open pass here to someone whose momentum is going downfield. But what does he know about what's going on behind him? Like, not much, other than like if the defenders have been really fast, they'll be there, but they probably won't be there. But it's not known; it's an unknown. And then it's like look away from the open pass with momentum over here, and yeah, it's he is free because you can probably judge how long it takes for the defenders to get down there. But I don't know if it's a better option. Yeah,
and that's just a missed zone from the US.
Right. Yeah. And
could have worked is if the Japanese player on the far left hold on the disc a little bit longer, but they recognized that there was space on the right side of the field, and they exploited it well.
Yeah, that's
with
what
a
I'm
clutch
noticing.
grab from Matsuno.
Well, this is like a 2-3-2. Like a whiffed 2-3-2. But I think the thing here, and I think you touched on it there, is that this player just catches and throws back. Yeah, there's like no it's like he glances downfield, if that, and then just throws straight back. And then
sees a tidal wave of white players, so you recognize, why should I play this way?
Yeah, and that completely opens up the other side. That's why nice. So it's a disc reversal, and then Tanaka is like in perfect position here.
As always, pin on the sideline, and then let's go towards the other one.
And here we've got the continuation, throwing deep, and then
back under. There is a missed switch, I think.
Well,
no, that's not this point. This one is okay.
Yeah, it's 2-3-2.
It'll be one later.
Dun, 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 dun. Awesome.
It's perfect.
Good camera work. Very, very nice. Very, 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 very nice. Little travel. Tush. Yeah, I think Rusty is number 10 on the field. Oh wait, no, you're still playing. Right. Sorry, I'm just getting glimpses of a conversation between Rusty and Joe on the chat. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised this is. I'm a little bit surprised this is questioned, because I think in real time it actually looks pretty in. Okay, fair enough. It's questioned.
That's understandable, and they recognize it's in quite soon. Good resolution.
Yeah, Liam Kelly in the middle of it. Liam Kelly is a fantastic person. He's my coach educator, and just a all-round lovely guy. Great to chat to. Very wise, I'd say. but you know,
Corono.
not in a boring way.
Matsuno and they are back. Who's getting more reps as they get down to the elimination games. Take a look at this replay. Matsuno.
Nice.
Footwork.
Yeah. Very good, very good.
Matsuno.
Did he burn Jack Hatchet deep? Yeah, but I mean, when you've got like the flow that he was working from, anyone could burn anyone deep, really. Like, where does Matsuno come from? I guess is a good question. So there he is. Yeah, he just goes. You see how Jack Hatchet actually takes the, like, if that is Jack Hatchet, takes the crossfield line. Almost like he's expecting the crossfield throw from here. It's interesting. So maybe he's adapted his deep defending to play against
Specifically
Spurs.
for the Japanese.
Yeah, it's possible. Oh, yeah, Dom Knight recognised that as well. Good spot. Yeah, Liam Kelly is anything but boring. Yeah. Oh yeah, whilst being very, very, very fun, he's also very wise, I'd say. And level-headed. Yeah, definitely a great person to have as, like, I think he's head of the game advisors in the UK. And yeah, great person to have in that position.
Doing the hard stuff. Adam Knight doing the switching, providing you
That
all
was the
with
second
great camera views.
quite flawless point from the Japanese. The flow.
Doing the switching, providing you all the
Yeah,
I'm
really
betting
nice.
this won't stop soon.
see here today. Taylor. It's another zone from the Buzz Bullets. And very switchy. You can tell in the way
See
they
that a
play,
nice
they're
off-end
always head on a
can't
swivel.
also
Always
see that their
looking around
defense
for the
is
option
much
for
more,
crashing. And
much
close
better
to it,
positioned
but no
than it
foul
was at
called.
the beginning of the game.
You can tell that
If you compare
they
these
like the
defense to the
physicality
first
going.
points,
They have no problem.
Mm-hmm.
they are clogging
Neff unleashes a hammer to
lanes,
Capinos.
enforcing off
On the
hammers.
back foot. Malachek to Taylor. Foster. Flip to the end zone.
Center of the fields. Score.
Give the force here. And then closes up aggressively. Little lefty into this middle. And a bit of incidental contact. Did you ever see that clip where was it Sockeye were getting annoyed at Florida? Did that ever happen?
Soccer against Florida
Doesn't
doesn't
sound.
ring a bell for me, but
Isn't that college versus
could be
club?
right.
But I can remember someone getting annoyed when whenever they'd catch the disc, there'd then be people in front of them like this, and it was like one of those cups that is like people pushing in too much, and they ended up like taking an extra step to like bump into them and like knocking them over and stuff. It got a bit ugly. But I seem to remember Soccer being involved, but I also know that Florida had that kind of cup that was always pushing the limits of double teaming. Not passing to an open player, but why? Let's see. Let's try and find which one.
I think that's the player at the dump on the right, which is not served. The attack thinks that it will push them even further towards the sideline.
Is that later on or earlier?
It was earlier.
Earlier.
So
Over here.
around here, I guess. Ah, the hammer break. Okay, so later. My bad.
Later. Okay. Yeah, I think Dom was right that just on the last point, the positioning of the defender, in case the disc hangs or isn't like a bullet to the back corner, then actually going across in the middle is not a bad positioning. If you have a shot at it, then you have a good shot from there. God, this is an epic hammer, isn't it?
Nice catch too.
Yeah, like
So
one-handed.
A one-headed grab. Again, if you're forcing these type of throws, kind of winning the game. More
Right.
than willing to put the offense to try that more in times. Was mentioning, I don't see which player Kim was mentioning, perhaps the one slightly closer to the hammer. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Score.
I think maybe we have to keep it moving. Yeah, I mean, part of this, it's funny technique, this like jumping up, raising that back leg. But I'm just not sure about hammer technique. What the best technique is, because people that I see throw the furthest hammers, I'm like, you know, some like actually this guy from South Africa like stepped into it, you know, so he like turned his whole body, he stepped into it, and I was like, normally I teach not to step into it, but you've got an 80-yard hammer, so what do I know? And goes up one-handed.
Nice grab.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit biased towards hammers because in Brighton we throw them all the time. One European mixed, throwing tons of hammers, and sometimes we play against teams and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, allow them to throw hammers. Yeah, we're happy with that." You know, and I'm like, "Well, I mean, okay, but you know, we can win with hammers." we do
I'm
like
pretty
winning.
much in favor of hammers too. I think they are not taught as much as they should. Most of the time you are practicing, I don't know, hundreds of backhands and forehands a session, and you are throwing 10 hammers at most. You are definitely using them more than that in a real game. So I'm pretty sure that the proportion, it's such a lovely offense though. I'm pretty sure that we are not learning them as much as we should. But at the same time, given that we are not practicing them enough, using them in a match is quite risky. So if you are forcing that as a defender, I'm quite happy. That's what I meant.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. If they have to throw a hammer every single possession, then
they
the
actually
odds go in your
almost
favor.
did, I think.
Right. So inward pivoting. This point inspired me to make an inward pivoting video, and then I realized that I needed a bit more time to kind of collect concepts together. So even right here, this player catches on the sideline, turns inwards, and then the stance they adopt, yeah, see how their feet are like next to each other, and so therefore I mean, he might be facing this way with the way his head is turned, but because his feet are like this, then technically his like body is facing this way. Oh, it's an awful arrow. I thought I was getting better at them. So his feet are on that line, and then so technically his body is facing that way, which is directly infield. Then he doesn't even have to move his feet to then throw this. Very hard to defend against. Inward turn, but we all know that's kind of dependent on where the disc is. Although the disc is slightly on his left, so he does actively put his left foot down a bit wider and then turn to his right. He does that shoulder fake that we saw earlier, yeah, where you like rotate your body out, sends that defender. See how the defender commits so much to this when that little body fake happens, and then he steps over, and at this point he's got so much control over his balance, and he barely travels. He barely travels, just like 1 inch. And then he's able to hit the inside, yeah, and where he's got this player then slashing across. Yeah, and this is the player that threw the previous pass. He then slashes across and very, very quickly, boom, boom, hits the inside pass. Now he's got a player free here that he should probably hit. Oh, he's got Matsuno free here as well, so he's got 2 options now in the direction that he's facing. He fakes it because this defender might be in the way because they're surrounding the disc, but obviously they couldn't avoid that position. Here's Matsuno, who just hangs out in the space. Matsuno then turns inwards, does a little hoppy travel. Yeah, just a little bit of a hoppy travel, but very much just an inward. It's natural to turn inwards here, but then to direct your balance inwards, and then pivot inwards, and then this is like a down the line throw, right? He catches it and gets in the same position as if Matsuno had turned outwards and then thrown down the line. So that argument of like turning inwards is a waste of time, because if you have someone down the line, then you can hit them quicker with an outwards turn that's more direct to the end zone. I think this invalidates that because he catches it and then basically throws that kind of downline pass so quickly. And if you imagine this is like a drill, right? So imagine there's a drill here where you start your cut here and you cut across and you got a force in the way here, okay? So like this is direction of the cut in the drill, right? Then you would teach the thrower to go for the inside break and then first, and then the around break second, right? Because the inside break can be thrown earlier. So therefore it makes sense that this inside turn happens because it opens up the inside option first and then the around option later, right?
It's fine by me.
Sorry?
That's fine by me. That's a perfect way of describing what they are doing.
And then Tanaka gets it.
Cutting horizontally, which is something that you never do in regular Ultimate, and this works so perfectly in the game.
When Tanaka gets it, he turns outwards because that's the way his momentum's taking him and everything. That's fine. It would be pretty awkward to turn inwards here. And then there's no unnecessary outward pivot. He just redirects and pivots inwards. You know, directs his balance inwards, faces inwards, pivots inwards, and then can immediately hit this throw, then going down the middle. Where does that cutter come from? And we see this is the guy that Tanaka throws to.
Matsuno so deadly, marked up by one of the best defenders on Ironside, WUCC.
This just moves so fast, so hard to stop. And then there's a bit of and then to Matsuno in the end, and then you can see why I took my camera out of the way so that you can actually see that final throw. Always 2 steps ahead. Yeah, so he ends up holding this for a few seconds. Matsuno comes from over here, just goes up, threatens, little fake, massive space in the end zone to throw to. So for me, that point is like a clinic in inward pivoting.
Yeah, that's a third really smooth point in a row from the buzz bullets. To be frustrating for Ironside, being to throw risky throws, almost 50-50 hucks, and getting scored. Hi again, Felix.
Hello.
And being scored it's easily the Japanese.
Right. Yeah, frustrating. Like when you're playing against such good offense as well. You know, even the greatest strategical defensive mind will be like, they kind of tried forcing them around the edge. They have to force them through the middle, but that's kind of where you thrive when you're doing quick disc movement offense. Force them to throw it deep, perhaps, but they've brought down their fair share of hucks as well.
First one we mentioned, the first point, a huck. You don't really want them to be forced deep, I think. And also, as far as forced middle is concerned, inwards pivoting really really the viability of the middle force, I think.
Inward pivoting all the time does what to the middle force?
It's really threatening the viability of the middle force.
Right, yeah.
Most of the time against the middle force, if you are pivoting outwards, you are always facing a tough break to keep the flow going. But if you are facing inwards, if you are pivoting inwards, you always have an open lane to throw to. Throw into, sorry. Again, the concept did hack.
Yeah.
Like the 5th time there is a risky throw for Ironside and bullets. So even though the score doesn't really show that, doesn't really reflect that, well, I wasn't playing the game, but it's not don't have any cushion when you are playing this type of offense, and you know that you can't do a mistake because otherwise you're, for the moment at least, helpless to break.
Yeah, I could have maybe switched here. You can see when defenders run past each other, that's a sign they could have switched. And I think there's a switch here, right? That's poaching off. Yeah, and then they do the switch there. But it's this player here that they throw to in the end. Yeah, the inward pivoting against the middle force. I think people have found that middle force works better than most against Hex. But I think also people that play Hex still don't pivot inwards enough, and inward pivoting's useful in any system. But in Hex, it's I wouldn't say it's essential, but it just opens everything up, and it works so smoothly with every other aspect of Hex, inward pivoting, because you have all those players there, inside any spread offense it will work much better with. And so yeah, force middle might, it's a shame you have to pull out of this one. Force middle might cause some trouble, but then when the teams then start pivoting inwards more, then that can counter that force middle a bit better.
We managed not to hit him.
And we'll see if they can here on Sky Magazine's coverage of the 2014 World Ultimate Club Championships.
That's really good catch, isn't it?
It really is.
Hammer's a bit more difficult to incorporate into a flow-based offense, Kim says, but absolutely a solid value option to a longer pass. Yeah, I think it's essential to have a hammer game, or to have an overhead game. Otherwise the defense can just force you to throw them, and then you don't have it. Oh, it's such good composure to be able to get that so quickly after bidding up high as well, so quickly. Taking my camera away seems like only one step. Are you talking about getting another webcam to show Rue? So on my...
No, you were saying that you were 2 steps ahead.
Oh, right.
Of the camera.
Right. Okay, yeah, 1 step ahead. 2 steps ahead is buying a new webcam to put on Rue. So if I get 50 patrons, then we're getting another webcam, and if my computer can handle it, then we're training it on Rue, and we're going to have Rue cam for the duration of the live streams, because that's what the people want. And if my computer can't handle it, then we'll just have to wait till I get 100 patrons and buy a new computer.
So 2 more points till halftime.
Okay.
Correctly.
Right, because it's 9:30. This is a timeout. Okay. Ideal time to go to patreon.com and /Felix Ultimate, because we will be doing a patrons only short private stream after this, where I'm going to go through the second half of the game quickly and categorize it in preparation for Friday. So if you want to join for that, then become a patron for minimum amount, just $1 a month. Pay what you like.
This was the travel. Or to understand why the...
Oh, he just gets broke, doesn't he?
I think so, but we are so far away that I won't...
Yeah, no point looking at it again, really.
I've tried, but didn't reach a conclusion.
Yeah, it looked like it was just a break. So they're going very tight 1-to-1. That's a bit of a backpack. I think you're right to be a bit annoyed about that, because I don't think he had an angle here. Yeah, he's going through, like, that left arm. Kurt Gibson would take that left arm away and rotate his body, but he brings it forwards. There's a guy right there. There's the guy that you're paying the most attention to in the world is right in front of you, and he loves frisbee just like you do. So don't try and hurt him. Try not to hurt him. It's a bit clumsy, but I think he's right to be annoyed about that.
The king still lives. Japan along the sideline. Kamimura.
Outward pivot.
Look for Matsuno.
And a pure inside out throw, I think. This, not yet.
Back to Kurono.
Outward pivot. God, snappy sidearm. Travel and big IO flick. Yeah, Matsuno with a huge sky.
Once again.
Matsuno putting one up for the crowd again.
Kim said that he's trying to hug him. That's what the backpack was about. He's just being really spirited, trying to give him a little hug. Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it.
Apart from the turnover from the bus ballet's offense, this was the most contested point.
Right, you mean in
Goal
terms of like bids
flow
and stuff?
going. Yeah.
He's got no bid here.
The shame he travels. The eye of flick is so good.
Yeah. Oh, it's really nice. So yeah,
When he throws it, yeah.
the defender bidding without having a chance, and the previous backpack indicates to me that, you know, in the timeout, Ironside said that they had to get more physical and they had to lay out bid, and that's probably why, as you say, this is the most contested point. You know, there's a lot of pressure and there's contact happening all over the field during the point, but mostly it's just very, very good high pressure physical defense. The backpack was bad, and then the bid on this pass here, you know, like it's these moments here where the defenders decides, right, I'm going to lay out bid on this, and then just makes them like add that extra pressure. But then the bid here, he ends up not having an angle. He doesn't backpack him. Oh, I suppose the offense does take a step towards at the end, but like, yeah, he's committed to that layout long before it was an option. And then wow. And then Matsuno just going up, just getting perfect position, going up, top of his jump, arm perfectly straight up in the air, getting the maximum amount of vert. That straight line all the way down there.
This guy knows how to reach high.
He sure does. Oh, I got a dislike on the video. I've got 5 likes and 1 dislike. Maybe it's because I talked about Frank. What do you think?
I'm not sure. Let me put seventh like here.
Oh, I got 5 now. Okay, brilliant. Thanks to the 2 people that just liked the video. Oh, 9. Oh my god. Thank you, everyone. You're making that 1 seem insignificant.
We need to pass the 10%, 10%.
Yeah, past the 10%. Yeah. Oh, 11-1. Excellent. 11-1. Oh, that's a nice catch.
Lovely catch, lovely throw. I admire about the throw is that he travels before, but he takes a moment to gain his balance back and throws without a travel at all, which also shows that the first travel wasn't needed, but throw is so perfect.
Yeah, it's just like a snap of the core here. Moving that left arm, pushing that elbow back, bringing the shoulder back, and then rotating, keeping that foot well planted. It's the way the disc holds the shape as well, just holding that inside out shape. And inside out discs you can catch at the bottom. You can catch on the very like lowest point in the disc when it's inside out, and when it's outside in, then it's better to go on the top edge.
I remember a video from Felix on that.
Did I make a video on that? I talked about it in a live stream. Oh yeah, the catching video. Yeah,
I think so. Yes.
That was Ultimate Athlete Project, I think, or Ultimate Skills Project,
or Ultimate Skill Project. I think. Yeah.
That's the one. Shout out Melissa Whitmer and all her good work.
I did with her in a tournament. She was in France. I invited her to play with us. She got to play hexagonal offense.
Oh, really? Cool. I heard they played it at Cut Camp as well when they went to St Andrews. Jesse Schaffner threw it away or something. So that's the rumor. Oh, he like laid out downwards.
I think if you look at the other angles that will be shown afterwards, it was really tough to have a play on the disc. But when you see it at first, you really think you could have had hit.
Looks like it. No, it's interesting. It's like rugby or something. You got the 2 lines. Swing across, swing across. So have Buzz changed their defense now?
This one, it was a one-on-one defense, I think.
Yeah.
Will put it back several times in the match, but most of the time they will switch to their third or mark weird zone. 7 against these 6 downfield defenders. Really, this guy makes a U-turn. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's the cut. That's the scoring cut.
So close.
Yeah, let's have a look at this bid. It looks like he goes. It looks like he attacks it more than he needs to.
I think it's the disc is still quite high.
Right.
We'll see on the replay.
Yeah. It's hard as well, like running at full speed to get height on your jump.
Yeah. So again, it's hard, but the defender, I'm happy seeing this type of throws get up. Well, it can get to your head, not being able to defend it, but
no problem. Just if I'm not gonna be able to get this, it's gonna come right to me.
Oh, that looks even closer.
it is. But the Ironside player is quite huge already, so I'm not really sure how high is the throw. It's quite unreachable.
Yeah, potentially he could have taken a line that was closer to the receiver, and also gone with the left hand. If you go with the left hand here, then you have that shoulder width closer to the side that the disc coming down onto. Okay, yeah, cheers, Cam. I don't often notice. I do have stuff on my monitor to like show me where the chat box and stuff are, but sometimes I don't notice. Yeah. Okay, well, very close anyway. So that's a contested huck. So would you say most of... Go on.
And that's a perfect way to end the first half.
Would you say most of Ironside's hucks have been contested by both?
Yes, I think so.
And what are your summarizing thoughts then on offense defense in both teams? Strategical insight for the game first half.
Well, I think if we stick to the basics, the score doesn't tell the story at all. Ironside did an excellent job of capitalizing the first break. I think it's 2-0 first, and then capitalized once again on the weird Matsuno mistake, the very unlikely one, but still it happens. Apart from that, we've seen 2 types of defense from both teams, I think. Japanese switched between their zone and man defense, and Ironsides were doing mostly D and switched to a 2-3-2 zone 1 point that got shredded, in lack of a better word. So they switched back to which is, I think, foreshadowing the second half. Apart from that, I think both teams actually see stuff to be satisfied from that half. Being can put an accent on something that that the players will have to work on for the second half. For the buzz bullets, it would be that all of the Ironside offense were contested, either really tight hammers or contested hucks. And as far as Ironside is doing, well, doing even with contested hucks, we are leading by 3 points. So just keep doing the good work and put even more pressure on the throws. So both teams have to be, I think, quite satisfied with the half, which will lead to an electric second half, I guess.
The second half is electric. I'm looking forward to that second half and covering it with you on Friday. I hope everybody in the chat is going to join for that as well. I am going to show you a little bit of Rue. I think Rue. Yeah, here you go. Hello, Rue. She's like, "Where's the food? Where's the food? Show me the food." Sorry, Rue. It was a trick just to get you off here. Let me get Rue on the camera. If you haven't subscribed to Patreon, then I'm gonna I'm going to go to subscribers only mode. So here you go, Rue. Look, it's not food, but here's a little camera for you to look at. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going to go to. That's just her fluffy under chest. Here you go. There's Rue cam.
It's Rue cam.
Rue alert, indeed. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed to Patreon yet, then it's just $1 a month. I'm going to go and prep the second half. Hopefully, maybe you could stay with you doing anything, Florian.
Yes, I think I'm gonna free my wife from her screaming baby. I think it's time for me.
Yeah, good shout. We've lost Rue. She wasn't interested. She's going to sit back down there. But I won't bother her anymore. She will learn not to trust me if I use the making a noise to try and to get her up on the desk too much. So let me just change my my screen to be this one, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Now I go over here. Just giving you the Patreon page again. I'll give you the video this time. 20 seconds just tells you what you get and stuff.
Hello and welcome to my Patreon page. This is where you can see the best clips from live streams.
What is wrong with my computer when I try and go full screen?
This is where you can see the best clips from live streams. Get early access.
That's unacceptable, isn't it? Maybe if I change the quality here.
Hello and welcome to my Patreon
There we
page.
go. That's better.
Hello and welcome to my Patreon page. This is where you can see the best clips from live streams.
Now I'm in the way.
Get early access to upcoming YouTube analysis videos, see behind the scenes material, and even commission me to analyze footage of you playing. Patronage is the way I can continue doing what I'm doing, so if you value the work, please support it today. There's even a tier if you just want to watch more videos of my cat Rue, and we all know that's the real reason you're here.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, there's going to be lots of exciting stuff on the Patreon. There's cat content. Also, like $25, and I'll analyze footage of you playing. So if there's a game that you played in, and maybe like maybe the top game you played in happened to be filmed, then I can go over, if you send me like the time signatures and stuff, I can go over and look at it and do a quick analysis of it. And then that will also then be content for people who are on the higher tier of subscriptions as well to Patreon. Cool. Thank you very much, Florian, for joining.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Felix.
I will see you on Friday. Yeah. Kim says he accepts Rue as a new overlord. Yeah, damn right. Yes, so I'll head on to Discord now. Let me put the link for Discord into the chat. So everyone just hold on for a second. I am going to get the Discord link. When you sign up on Patreon, then it immediately gives you rights in Discord. Okay, so you can then. Did that go through into the chat? No, it didn't. So yeah, if you sign up on the Patreon, then it goes straight into Discord, and then you can join the patrons only areas in Discord, and you can chat. And take part in the streams. So the private stream isn't just going to be like this. It'll be basically like lots of people chatting. I'll be doing some work in the background. People can ask me like how I do the video editing work. So that's where you get like the insights into the programs I use and the methods I have for like breaking the footage down and things like that. I get more and more questions about that every week. So I figured that's a good place to put that. Yeah, and just a chance to wind down. My chest gets really tight after these. I'm always a bit like, so just give me a chance to like wind down in the chat around lots of people who are also interested in this stuff. Right, here's the Discord link. You can join the general channel in Discord for free, and then it will be the patrons who then get access to the special stuff, the exclusive stuff. All right, thank you everybody for watching, and yeah, I'll see you on Friday.